Greetings and welcome to yet another session with myself, Namhla Ndlovu, right here from Johannesburg, South Africa. Catching up with myself, Namhla Ndlovu, telling you what's been going on this past weekend with your current news. Here are your headlines. KwaZulu Natal school principal and girlfriend slain to death. AKA is inconsolable after fiance's death. And Health Department sends a warning on the third wave. Nomangema's state capture testimony on Malusi Gigaba set for Tuesday. The DA bemoans a delay in the settlement of over 100 families in District 6. Wheelchair-bound KZN farmer found strangled to death. Outcry over Pietermaritzburg prisoner labor law. Ekurhuleni family handed renovated house by Panyaza Lesefu. Anger after gran and granddaughter raped. Inanda's grand's home gutted over witchcraft. Those are your headlines. Stay tuned for your main news bulletin. Welcome back. A reminder to all our viewers to please make sure that you send us your comments and, of course, your suggestions on our social media pages. We definitely would love hearing from you. Tell us where you are and what suggestions you have for our current news. First story, KwaZulu Natal school principal and girlfriend slain in brutal village ambush. The killing of a KwaZulu Natal school principal and his girlfriend has sparked fears that a village war could break out to avenge their deaths. Mlungisi Shandu, the principal of Timoni Primary School in the village of Nsongeni near Richmond, said Shandu Mvubu were shot dead while sitting in a bakkie on Sunday evening. Both Shandu, who was 53 years old, and Mvubu, who was 38 years old, died instantly. 9 shots were fired at the vehicle. Police spokesperson Captain Nobile Gwala said police were investigating charges of murder. Gwala said the motive for the killing and the suspects were still unknown. Shandu has been described as a fearless member of the South African Democratic Teachers Union, known as SATU, who had been at the forefront of addressing issues affecting teachers in the Namhla Ndlovu district. Families of the couple have ruled out that the killing was a crime of passion. A neighbor who chose not to be named said Shandu's death could be linked to a feud he had with a school governing body member. She feared his death could spark a village war. Moving on to our next story. AKA is inconsolable after tragic death of fiancé Anele Temba at Cape Town Hotel. The family of Anele, Nelly Tembi, and her fiancé, SA rapper AKA, have confirmed her death in a statement released yesterday. This was Sunday. It is with the deepest regret that we, the Tembe and Forbes families, confirm the untimely passing of our beloved fiancé, daughter, sister, and daughter-in-law, Anele Tembe, who was only 22 years old of age. Anele tragically passed on in the early hours of yesterday morning. That's the 11th of April, 2021. A statement read, "We are still in shock and are dealing with our emotions as she was an exceptional and gifted young woman with so much life ahead of her. She had a sweet nature about her and was always nurturing to those around her." Her fiancé, Keeman Forbes, is currently inconsolable and is surrounded by family and closest friends. At this hour of our grief, we humbly request that our families be given privacy and time to heal. Temba died after an incident at the Pepper Club Hotel in Cape Town. Police are investigating the matter, but according to paramedics, a woman had allegedly jumped from the 10th floor of the hotel. And our third story? Health Department unclear on when third wave will hit South Africa, warns it remains a big risk. Amid growing fears of a third wave of COVID-19 infections among South Africans, Health Minister Dr. Zweli Mkhize on Friday said that his department did not know when the third wave could hit the country, but maintained it remained a big risk. The Department of Health, also known as DOH, also announced that South Africans would be able to register to be vaccinated against the pandemic from this Friday through the Electronic Vaccination Data System, known as the EVDS. The announcement was made during a briefing by the department to unions, civil society and the media to outline the country's vaccination rollout program. Mkhize said that there was no way of telling whether the next wave would be orchestrated or it will be with a new variant. It's important for us to always be aware that it remains that we will have, but we don't have concrete information as to when this is likely to happen, and we have no reason to think that it will not happen in South Africa, Mkhize said. He said that it is important for South Africans to stick to the basic containment measures such as the use of masks, social distancing, and of course, avoiding crowds. And to our next story, Namhla Ndlovu's state capture testimony on Malusi Gigaba set for tomorrow. This is Tuesday. The testimony of Namhla Ndlovu, estranged former wife of Cabinet Minister Malusi Gigaba at the Judicial Commission of Inquiry into allegations of state capture, is set to take place on Tuesday following its postponement. Ngoma had been penciled in to testify before Commission Chairperson Deputy Chief Justice Raymond Zondo last Friday, but had to be pushed back to this Tuesday. Gigaba was also expected to apply to cross-examine Ngoma and that her evidence be heard in camera. These matters will be dealt with on this Tuesday with a sitting with the commission, of course. The commission said that Ngoma's testimony had to be shifted to Tuesday after the testimony of former State Security Minister David had taken all day and into the early part of the evening. That's David Mahlobo. The couple's showdown at the commission was hugely anticipated, with Gigaba having sought to cross-examine his estranged wife and warned the commission not to make her evidence public, but Gigaba's lawyers did not go ahead with the application to cross-examine Ngoma as they were not present. In a all-television interview with pay TV news channel ENCA last December, following the couple's breakup, Ngoma spilled the beans on Gigaba about several alleged rendezvous at the Gupta's Saxon World compound, from which he would allegedly return with bags stuffed with cash. And our next story, DA bemoans delays in the resettlement of over 100 families in District 6. And in Cape Town, the DA in the Western Cape has criticized the numerous delays in the resettlement over 100 families in District 6, calling it a major stumbling block for restitution and justice. The 108 claimants, part of the Phase 3 return, were informed by the Department of Agriculture, Land Reform, development of delays to completion of the units located at Hanover Street due to the COVID-19 pandemic. DA committee spokesperson on human settlement, Matlodi Maseko, said chairperson of the Standing Committee on Human Settlements in the province, she will be visiting families affected and the housing sites. While COVID-19 has created disruptions across every sector, claimants have been waiting for homes for more than 20 years before the pandemic. In 2019, the High Court gave the national government 3 years to complete restitution claims made between 1995 and 1998, which amounted to 975 claimants. There is no time to waste in supporting dignity for those residents, and currently there is no finalized list of beneficiaries, nor is there a date of when the department envisions they will be able to hand over these units. The Provincial Department of Agriculture, Land Reform and Rural Development said that delays to the redevelopment process was inevitable due to the pandemic. And our next story, wheelchair-bound KZN farmer found strangled. And in Durban, KwaZulu Natal, police are investigating a case of murder after the body of a wheelchair-bound farmer was found with strangulation marks on his neck on Saturday. Police spokesperson Captain Nobile Gwala said on Sunday a case of murder is being investigated by Winterton SAPS. It is alleged that On Saturday, at about 10:15, the body of a 46-year-old man was found with strangulation marks on the neck at a farm in Winterton. His hands were also tied and he was found in his wheelchair. The circumstances surrounding the incident are being investigated, Gwala said. In a statement on Sunday, DAMP Alf Lees identified the victim as Neil McKay. Lees asked, "Who would murder a man in a wheelchair? A man in a wheelchair who was both unarmed and physically unable to protect himself. We are also appalled by the news that the reason he was crippled and was because of an initial farm attack some 20 years ago, in an attack which he was shot and disabled. It seemed that despite the passing of 20 years, the attackers who crippled Neil McKay have never been convicted." And in Pietermaritzburg, prisoner rights activists and labor unions have vowed to shut down Pietermaritzburg should its leadership continue to set in motion the plan to have prisoners clean up the city. The Msunduzi municipality was given the nod by the council's executive to devise a workable plan with the Department of Correctional Services, that's the DSC, which will see inmates sweep and clean the streets, cut grass in some of the cemeteries and public parks, paint municipal buildings, as well as service the municipality's fleet. Msunduzi municipality has been plagued by maladministration and allegations of corruption, resulting in basic service delivery not being adhered to. Xolani Shinga, Provincial Deputy Secretary of the South African Municipality Workers Union, said the organization was infuriated by the evil and apartheid-like agreement between the parties. He said as a stakeholder they were not consulted or informed on these developments, and that the decaying state of the city was an indication of a lack of ideas to run a local government capable of delivering services. This agreement should be considered as slavery of a special kind and a human rights violation. We are sure it will present a greater chance for the inmate to escape while in the field. A Ekurhuleni family handed renovated house by Lesotho and Mohlari. In Pretoria, some good news took place. Actually, Gauteng MEC for Education Panyaza Lesotho on Sunday joined philanthropist Given Mohlari in officially handing over a renovated house to the Pilani family in Katlehong in Ekurhuleni, that's in the East Rand. The house was renovated by Mohlari, founder of the Giver Foundation. In March, Mohlari bought the family's food donation and committed to renovate their house, which had become uninhabitable after a storm. The family members, led by a 79-year-old Gabriel Palani and his wife of the same age, Tandi, were featured in the Daily Sun newspapers weeks ago, begging for assistance from South Africans for food and to rebuild their damaged home. As a nation, we must encourage our young people that as they grow up, material things will always be there, but these heartwarming gestures are what we need in society, Lesotho said. For us to come here to open such a beautiful home for someone who is not capable or able to do it for themselves, it's a very heartwarming story. This is why some of us have left whatever we were doing to come here and say to Given, thank you so much for doing this, he said. And of course, Panyaza left a big celebration of his 40th birthday just to go and do this good deed. So yeah, nice one. And our next story, anger after a Durban grandmother who was 51 and a granddaughter, a 6-year-old girl, were raped. In Durban, a 31-year-old man was arrested yesterday for allegedly raping a 51-year-old woman and her 6-year-old granddaughter in the woman's Chesterville home. He is expected to appear in the Durban Magistrates Court on Tuesday. The little girl can't walk. She has to be carried, doctors say. There was so much damage done to her, her life won't be the same again, said a relative. She said on Sunday morning that the man allegedly burgled into their home where the grandmother lived with her 2 grandchildren aged 6 and 12. When he came in, the 12-year-old was able to escape. She ran to her mom's friend's house. The friend contacted the man, who phoned a neighbor to check on the grandmother. When the neighbor arrived, the house was in a mess, like there had been a struggle. The man asked the neighbor what she was doing inside the house. She ran out of the house to get help. When she returned with another neighbor, the grandmother told them what had happened, but the man had gone. She said the man was known to everyone, and it was through social media that he was actually captured. We shared his picture and name on Facebook, and we had people responding that he had been seen and spotted in the Point area. My brother went to the police and the man was arrested. Another relative said the man was known to the family and the community. And in our last story, Inanda's grand home gutted over witchcraft rumors. In Durban, an Inanda family were left traumatized after their home was set alight on Sunday, allegedly because the community suspected the homeowner practiced witchcraft. This was according to homeowner Buselapi Ngcobo's grandson, Petros Mnyende, who said events escalated on Friday evening after Ngcobo was told her neighbor's house had been broken into and she went to alert the community. A case of arson is being investigated by the Inanda SAPS. And that's all for today's news edition with myself, Namhla Ndlovu, from Johannesburg, South Africa. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure that you keep it locked right here on your favorite home of black entertainment. That's Non-Flex. And of course, join the rest of my colleagues from all around the world as we bring you the latest and of course, give you all the updates that you need to keep entertained and informed. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember to please send us your comments and your suggestions. From myself, stay blessed.